Welcome back, thrill seekers, to the Urban Rabbit. Tonight we are diving into stories you won't believe. But seriously, I feel like I say that a lot, but this time it's different. We're not just talking about ghosts or spooky legends, we're talking about things that actually happened, things our own governments did in secret to their own people. It's that kind of stuff that really gets under my skin, you know? The kind of truth that's way, way scarier than fiction because it was real. I've been going down this rabbit hole for weeks and honestly, it's messed me up a little. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on some of the most disturbing declassified projects in history. We're going to talk about a secret room in a hospital basement where nightmares were manufactured, a government scientist who knew too much and ended up falling from a 13th-story window, and a global surveillance system that was dismissed as a conspiracy theory until it wasn't. It's a journey into the heart of paranoia. And the terrifying part is realizing that maybe, just maybe, the paranoia was justified all along. So grab your security blanket, maybe turn on an extra light because this is going to be intense. I want you guys to come on this journey with me, to question everything, and to see just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Are you ready? Because honestly, I'm not sure I am, but we're doing this together. Let's get into it. This is Dark Secrets of MK Ultra, Frank Olson and Echelon. In the basement of a Montreal hospital, behind a heavy steel door, was a room no one wanted to talk about. Some called it the Forgotten Room. Others, those who'd seen it, called it Hell on Earth. This wasn't just some urban legend whispered among nurses on the night shift. This was the Allen Memorial Institute, and this room was the epicenter of one of the most horrifying sub-projects of the CIA's mind control program, MK Ultra. It was called Subproject 68, a name so sterile, so bureaucratic, it completely hides the horror it represents. The man in charge was a respected psychiatrist named Dr. Ewan Cameron. He was the president of the Canadian, American and World Psychiatric Associations. He looked like the kind of person you'd trust your deepest fears with. But behind that professional facade was a man obsessed with the idea of erasing a human mind and rebuilding it from scratch. He called it psychic driving. The CIA just called it effective. They saw his work as a potential way to break down enemy spies, to create the perfect sleeper agent, or to understand the secrets of brainwashing. And so they funded him. Secretly, of course. They funneled money through a front organization called the Society for the Investigation of Human Ecology. Patients came to Dr. Cameron for help with things like anxiety, depression, or even postpartum struggles. They were ordinary people looking for a cure. Instead, they became unwitting test subjects in a brutal experiment. They had no idea that the man they trusted to heal them was actually being paid by a foreign intelligence agency to systematically destroy their minds. His methods were pure psychological torture, disguised as therapy. He would place patients into chemically induced comas, sometimes for weeks, even months at a time. While they were unconscious, they were subjected to a barrage of negative, repetitive audio messages played on a loop through headphones or speakers placed under their pillows. These messages would repeat for 16 to 20 hours a day, drilling into their subconscious, trying to shatter their existing personality. It was a relentless assault on a defenseless mind. But that was only part of it. He combined this psychic driving with massive, repeated doses of electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT. We're not talking about the regulated, controlled ECT used today. This was 30 to 40 times the normal dosage. It was a blunt instrument designed to induce severe memory loss, to create a blank slate. He would also use hallucinogenic drugs like LSD and PCP, along with sensory deprivation, to further disorient and break down his patients. He was trying to de-pattern them, as he called it. The people who went through this were never the same. They emerged from their comas as shells of their former selves. Many had permanent amnesia. They forgot their families, their children, their own names. They had to be retaught how to speak, how to use a toilet, how to read. They were like infants in adult bodies. The project didn't create super soldiers or break enemy spies, it just created broken human beings. It was a catastrophic failure that left a trail of ruined lives in its wake. For decades, the Canadian government and the CIA denied everything. They claimed the records were lost, that the experiments never happened on the scale the survivors described. It was a classic cover-up. They stonewalled, they obfuscated, they waited for the victims to give up or pass away. It wasn't until the 1980s that the truth started to leak out, forcing a quiet, insufficient settlement from the Canadian government and a half-hearted admission from the CIA. But for many, it was too little, too late. The survivors and their families fought for decades for recognition, for an apology that truly acknowledged the horror of what was done to them. They had to piece together fragmented memories, fight against a system that was designed to silence them. They were told they were crazy, that their memories were unreliable. A cruel irony given that their memories had been deliberately targeted and destroyed by the very people now questioning them. Their struggle for justice is a testament to their incredible resilience. And the hospital, the Allen Memorial Institute? It still stands today, part of McGill University Health Centre, but the legend of the basement persists. Staff and students sometimes talk about strange feelings in the lower levels, of cold spots, and the faint, almost imperceptible sound of whispers. They say, if you listen closely enough, in the dead of night, you can still hear the looped recordings from the forgotten room, a ghostly echo of the suffering that took place behind that heavy steel door.